Why was Anton apologising when it was everybody else that was being cunts? Last night they were playing Truth or Dare, which is never a good idea, but I did get thinking, they used to give them alcohol in the villa and they don't anymore. Think of how much more dramatic it would be if they did. So when they said, never have I ever had my heart broken by another islander, Molly took a drink and Callum didn't, I'd have been raging, right, but no surprise because he's just such a man-whore. And he was like, oh, I mean, what does it really mean to have your heart broken? Like, you went out with somebody for 3 years and then you were trying to make out that you missed her and all that. Like, actually just fuck off, Callum. I wouldn't get a fucking dose of antibiotics. Tom came out with the most confusing never have I ever. And he was saying, oh, do you think that you should have went instead of another islander, or another islander should have went instead of the person that went, or whatever. And then Georgia went off her head and she said that Anton told her that her and Hannah were in the bottom too. And I was sitting my pal, right, and I was like, that's not what he said. He said that he had Hannah's back and he tried to save her, and he had Georgia's back when her name got brought up. He didn't say that she was in the bottom too, right? And I know that she was in an emotional state because Casey's there or whatever, but she was just being such a bitch, right? And Anton didn't even say that. And honestly, like, Anton is so forgiving and he's so nice. I'd have been like, Georgia, shut the fuck up. I didn't even say that, you fucking lying bitch. So Josh says, right, I'll tell you the honest truth, this is who was in the bottom. And then Kaz stormed off in a huff, right? And I wouldn't even care. See if somebody says to me, you were in the bottom too, I'd have been like, well, I'm still here, so fucking it sucks to be you. So Anton decided to sleep outside. And I was like, why is he sleeping outside? If Georgia H has got a problem, then she can fuck off outside. Or she can lie next to him in the bed and fucking grin and bear it. He didn't do anything wrong. He went to her as a friend and he was just upset that Hannah had gone. And he was like, I had her back, I had your back. He literally didn't do anything wrong and then he's fucking stuck outside on his own. It's an absolute fucking disgrace. So he came back in the morning and apologised and says, I'm sorry for causing an atmosphere last night. No, it wasn't him that caused the atmosphere, it was Georgia H. Then they went up to the terrace and they were talking about it. And he's like, oh, it's alright, I understand. Like, I know that you're going through a hard time because of Casey and you've got a lot going on and all that, right? Like, so understanding. I'm sorry, but if somebody made me out to be a liar, I would not be as understanding as that. Okay, people can go through hard times and they can be upset. But she literally made him out to be a liar. And he just totally forgave her. I was like, nah, wouldn't be me. So Casey told Tom that he was interested in Molly, and Tom was like, aye, on you go, I know she's your type. And then when he was chatting to her, everybody in the villa thought it was really weird, which it was because they're best friends and they literally live together, right? But Molly was understandably upset because she was saying, oh, well, he's told you to crack on, so he must not be that interested in me. And even though I don't really like Molly, I agree with what she was saying. But then at the same time, Tom was saying, well, I can't really, we're not closed off, like, you can talk to whoever you want. But I would have been annoyed as well. But then when Tom says to her later on, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I'm okay. Like, why do women do that? Like, they'll huff and they'll be like, I'm okay. Like, just tell him you're not okay. Tell him you're raging. Tell him you're not happy that you were trying to bloody well palm you off to his best pal. Just be honest about your feelings. Sophie was chatting to Chris and she says that she was really happy with Josh and she was kind of like closing everything off and she didn't really want to get to know anybody else. Meanwhile, no surprise, Josh is talking to Georgina and he was saying that he's open to get to know her and that he would like to chat more and all that. Now, he has not changed for season 1, right? At this point, I genuinely think he would stick it in a lamppost if it would fit. So Georgia H and Casey were having a chat and she was obviously upset because she felt that he ghosted her and he was saying that he didn't. But she obviously just wanted to know what the problem was. She was like, did you go off me? Like, was it something I done? Like, whatever. So he came out with that it freaked him out because when she was on a retreat, she says that she felt his grandfather's energy. Now, he's obviously never tried meditating, but when you do meditate and you do it properly, you hear people talking to you. You feel as if you're in another planet, another freaking dimension. Do you know what I mean? Like, so many different things happen and you feel all these mixed emotions and stuff. And all she said was that she felt his energy coming through. Now, if he's not even willing to just accept that, then he's a fucking child. Earlier on in the episode, actually, I says to my friend, Kaz's Prada sunglasses are ugly. And they says, oh, they're all wearing them. Then when I noticed they were all wearing them, I thought there's no way that they can all like them. They're absolutely hack it. Another thing that confuses me is, why did Georgia H want to go with Casey in the first place if she watched his season? Maybe she didn't, but these people pair up with each other and then they get shocked when they get treated like shit, and it's like, did you not watch their season? That's their entire personality. They're dicks. They will literally stick it in anything that moves. It's embarrassing. So Toby was talking to Chris and Kaz, and he was saying that he liked Georgia S, and they were like shocked, right? And I was like, where the hell did that come from? Because just the other night he was talking to the boys about Georgia S and how she'd been chatting up Tom and then going to Callum and saying that she liked him. And he was pure bitching about her behind her back, right? Now, obviously it makes sense that he's noticing this because he's watching her and he's paying attention to what she's doing. And it's obviously bothering him seeing her talk to these other guys. But at the time, it was just as if he was bitching about her and I didn't think anything of it. Then it was time for the recoupling and it was the boys' turn to choose. I could have swore that the boys chose last time, but don't quote me on that. So Casey chose Kaz and Joanna chose Chris. Tom obviously chose Molly, and then it was Anton's turn to pick. And even though he was so forgiving and they'd had their chat and he forgave and all the rest of it, I thought surely he's not going to pick Georgia H again, right? But not only did he pick Georgia H, he got up and he gave her an amazing speech. He complimented everything about her. He's like, oh, she's got a beautiful smile and she's such a good person and she's beautiful inside and out and all this, right? But then he went on to say that she's got a really good spiritual side, and he was talking about like the universe bringing them together and all that, and that was obviously to say to Casey, like, fuck you. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're a dick. At least Anton's willing to accept the fact that she's spiritual and he's not a fucking child about it. And I was like, do you know what? He is so good at speeches. So when Toby stood up to do his speech, I was just thinking he was going to pick Arabella, right? Even though he had said to Chris and that he liked Georgia. So when he was saying his speech and he's like, oh, this girl's beautiful and all that, right? Arabella's standing there smiling. She's got no idea what's going on. Nobody's got any idea what's going on. The only person who's shown any signs of anything being different was Chris, right? And even then, I still didn't think he was going to pick her. So he was giving this speech and my pal says, I wonder if they've got people helping them write speeches because it was so general, right? He wasn't even saying anything as if he was going to pick Georgia. And Arabella was just standing there smiling like, oh aye, like this is good kind of thing, until he was talking about being brave. Then when he actually said George's name, right, everybody was like, oh my god, like I thought Anton was going to actually fucking fall off his seat, right? Molly was like, what the fuck? Arabella's standing there, totally fucking blindsided, right? He didn't even go to her and say, look, I'm having second thoughts, or I really like her, or like maybe I'm going to pair it. Nothing. As I've said from the start, I hate Toby, right? He's such a fucking dick. Like, he's such a child. Who would do that? Who would stand up there and make a speech like that and not even give her a heads up to say, oh, I like somebody else, or maybe me and Georgia might be chatting, or nothing. No signs. He's just a dick, right? And he tries to say, oh, like, I'm really faithful in relationships and all that. Doubt it. He can't even be honest with somebody who's not even his girlfriend. He's an absolute arsehole. Him and Georgia S deserve each other. So when it finished, my pal says they might have showed you the rest of the recouplings, but they just cut it off obviously for the drama. But let me know what you thought of last night's episode. I don't think that Anton should have picked Georgia H. He's way too forgiving, but he's obviously a nicer person than I am. And I cannot believe that Toby picked Georgia, but he is a complete dick, so I don't know why I'm surprised. But let me know what you thought of last night's episode.